I said to Chief Billy Morin, I said, look, I need your advice. I need your direction. You're a very successful leader, and I'm thinking about running for Prime Minister. And I want to know what you think. And he said, first of all, I have a question for you. Pierre, do you believe in free speech? Yeah. And I said, of course. So he said, how would you like to give one? And that's how I ended up here giving this speech today.
Well, look at the movement. How could you not endorse Pierre Poilievre? I'm talking to multiple people in government, MPs. They've never seen a movement like this before. And, you know, Pierre talks a lot about gatekeepers. You know, here in Enoch Cree Nation, bear with me, trust me, we know about government gatekeepers as a First Nation. And every time he says it, it resonates with me. But it resonates with me not just as a First Nation leader, it resonates with me as an Albertan and a Canadian. And you know, Pierre's going to come up and talk about those things.
People, I couldn't see Andrew Scheer stepping up and standing up for Canadians. I couldn't see Aaron O'Toole standing up for Canadians. But I see Pierre as a man who's going to stand up for the values of Canadian freedom and freedom of speech and democracy.
The amount of excitement that he generates, and when you come into a crowd and you see people of all ages, which is so rare in the conservative movement. It's so exciting to see young people who are excited because he's speaking their language.
Sheila Gunn, Reid for Rebel News, and I'm here at the River Cree Casino and Resort on the land of the Enoch Cree First Nation, just west of Edmonton. And I'm here for a campaign event, the first real campaign event, I guess large-scale campaign event in the Edmonton area for Pierre Poilievre as he campaigns to be the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. Now, this crowd behind me is in the thousands. They are up in the rafters, and they are joining into the event here. I got here excessively early. I still got stuck in a traffic snarl. It looks like it's going to be easily thousands here at River Cree. The event doesn't even start for another half an hour, and it is very busy in here. This looks like it will be a crowd similar to what we saw earlier in the week at Spruce Meadows in Calgary, where a capacity crowd gathered to hear Pierre Poilievre speak. I think that crowd was estimated at somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 people. I don't think the venue here is that big. However, I think Pierre Poilievre would have no problem filling it up. Now, if you'd like to see all of our independent coverage from the Leadership Campaign Trail and support our independent coverage, and if you'd like to see my full and comprehensive report from the event tonight, please be sure to visit leadershipreports.ca. Okay, I better get set up because I think things are about to kick off here, and there is a crowd of people I'd love to talk to.
Oh, hi there. Good to see you guys. I guess we ran out of seating, so we needed to improvise a little bit. Good problem to have, too many supporters, eh?
He is unashamed and unapologetic to be absolutely vehemently against the World Economic Forum and any of their convoluted messages trying to smear him, and he's absolutely for freedom. And I just wanted those reinforced, and he did.
Let's talk to your friends here. Did you learn anything new tonight?
Yep, I'm going to be voting for him.
Why?
I just believe what he says is true. I think that's about it.
What did you learn?
I learned that there's City of Edmonton has a lot of Conservatives that are going to support this man, and he's going to be the next Prime Minister.
Reinforced my trust and belief, and I'm really a little bit scared of being hopeful because we've been let down so many times. But right now, I'm just really hoping that good times are coming. That's what I learned.
I love how he talked about the fact that the West needs to matter again. Like so many times we've had all these elitist politicians that just talk about, they're all from Quebec, they're all from Ontario, they never give Alberta or the prairies, they never care about them. So I'm really impressed with how I know he's from here, so he has that passion, so I was happy to hear that again.
You're coming out next and to say, you know, this is the leader we need to highlight the drive, to highlight the spirit, to highlight Alberta's entrepreneurialism, to get the government out of the way, to get the economy back on track.
Well, I work in the oil and gas industry, so
I'm pleased that he's all for the oil and gas industry and how understanding that the rest of the world needs Alberta oil because we are the most environmentally regulated. We don't cut off people's heads. We have rights for women. We have the socially acceptable oil, not the unsocially acceptable. So that appeals to me. Everything he says appeals to me, honestly.
I like the fact that Pierre is really supporting the Newfoundland oil and gas. He recognizes the fact that Irving Oil wants to get Alberta oil into their refinery out in St. John. Like the way St. John is doing it now is they're loading up out at Vancouver, taking it through the Panama Canal and taking it up. Like they want our oil, but we're getting held up. We have this massive amount of energy. Let's get it to the world. Let's do it.
And going forward, as a province, as a community, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio can make all the tweets he wants, but he's not going to stop those entrepreneurial First Nations from getting shit done and participating in the economy.
Real. He doesn't pull any bones. He's who he is and what he is. And it's this, I'm Pierre, and what you see is what you get. And he is enthusiastic about what's happening to Alberta. Thank God somebody is.
Carrie, you lost your seat because of a vote split. Do you think that Pierre Poilievre can heal that? Because I don't think Scheer or O'Toole even tried to heal it.
Yeah, Pierre is a difference maker. He really is. Like the amount of excitement that he generates, and when you come into a crowd and you see people of all ages, which is so rare in the conservative movement. It's so exciting to see young people who are excited because he's speaking their language.
This is the leader. This is the leader we need to highlight the drive, to highlight the spirit, to highlight Alberta's entrepreneurialism, to get the government out of the way, to get the economy back on track. We shouldn't have to apologize for being conservatives to anybody.
Chief Morin, what's the one thing that Conservatives can do right now to unlock the economic potential of Canada's First Nations?
Wow, that is a loaded question.
I promised you no trick questions, and then I asked a tough one.
Well, I'll say this. It doesn't go noticed, but the best finance and ec-dev legislation in this country right now is actually conservative legislation brought on by the previous conservative government. So I would say expand upon that. So you look at this facility that we're in right now, it was closed down for 6-7 months, opened up again, and then closed down another 6 and 7 months. And that was the only time I lost sleep as a chief. But long story short is that, you know, like everybody else, we were in a huge financial hole. And how we got out of that is First Nations Finance Authority, First Nations Management Act, and these are federal government legislation that allow First Nations to participate in the economy, to leverage their position with municipal interest rates. So we got to refinance our casino through First Nations Finance Authority, which is ultimately a conservative legislation, and that got us through COVID. So, you know, when you talk about raising capital, participating in the economy, First Nations need to have access to capital, and it's through conservative legislation that they're doing it. We just need to expand upon it.
These crowd sizes are enormous. I don't think Justin Trudeau could get a crowd like this in Montreal.
I don't think so. I'll tell you a little funny story. In the middle of the Pierre rally, I get a call, and it's for a live telephone town hall with Jean Charest. And I'm looking around at the thousands of people that are here and think, good luck, Jean, good luck. Because I think Pierre's he's just got the momentum, and it's only going to get bigger.
The last 2 years with Trudeau at the helm have been basically hell for everyone I know. So far, he seems like he's standing up for what the majority believe in, and that's kind of why I came down. I wanted to hear firsthand what he had to say. So,
have you ever been to a political event before?
No, I don't like politicians.
I couldn't see Andrew Scheer stepping up and standing up for Canadians. I couldn't see Aaron O'Toole standing up for Canadians. But I see Pierre as a man who's going to stand up for the values of Canadian freedom and freedom of speech and democracy. I don't want to see this guy standing up and saying, oh, democracy is being undermined by misinformation and disinformation, which is the same word. And you're going to sit here and tell lies and call people who disagree with you Nazis and fascists and right-wing radicals and stuff like that. We're just Canadians who are trying to earn a living and work hard. One day I want to own a home and I want to have a family. I want to have a wife and kids. And I want to really work as hard as I can to contribute to this society. But I also want to be able to speak my mind. And I don't want people to be shunned or demonized for speaking their own mind either. We disagree. That's part of being human. And disagreeing with each other and accepting the fact that we disagree and move on, we need to show each other love. Liberals, NDP, Conservatives, we're all Canadian here. And we really need to stand together and stand for what's right. We all stand against racism. We all stand against fascism. We all stand against police brutality, and we all stand against what's going on, against like unnecessary wars with Russia and Ukraine. So we want to stand for Canadians, and we want to stand for freedom across the world and show that we love and respect each other as humans. And that's all I have to say.
Can I tell you something?
Please.
I want to vote for you.
So I said to Chief Billy Morin, I said, look, I need your advice. I need your direction. You're a very successful leader, and I'm thinking about running for Prime Minister. And I want to know what you think. And he said, first of all, I have a question for you. Pierre, do you believe in free speech? Yeah. And I said, of course. So he said, how would you like to give one? And that's how I ended up here giving this speech today.
You've endorsed Pierre Poilievre. Why?
Well, look at the movement. How could you not endorse Pierre Poilievre? I'm talking to multiple people in government, MPs. They've never seen a movement like this before. I think Canada is ripe for change at this moment. I am one of those young people that at this moment in time can afford a mortgage, but I run a reserve. I have to take care of 2,700 members. Some of them now qualified for a mortgage 2 years ago and qualify for a mortgage now, 2 years later. And this is the only leader that's speaking to that issue. First Nations housing is a huge problem. Yes, I think government overall recognizes that, but this is the person who kind of has that sustainable long-term vision in mind to solve a problem such as that.
Well, the free market doesn't work that way, my friends. If a company comes in under budget, they should make a profit. If they go over budget, they should pay the price, not taxpayers. That's the market. Risk and reward go together. Profit and loss go together. That's the free market system, and that's why I will axe the multi-billion-dollar infrastructure bank to save money for taxpayers. And I'm thinking of some other ways we can save money. Any suggestions? Oh my, what was that? What was that? I can't hear. See? Oh, I think I just heard it. We're going to defund the CBC. Defund the CBC. Defund the CBC. Defund the CBC.
Well, that's a wrap here from Enoch Cree First Nation at the River Cree Resort. We actually heard from Chief Billy Morin of Enoch Cree First Nation. He endorsed his friend Pierre Poilievre to be the next leader of the Conservative Party of Canada and thus to become the next Prime Minister. We heard a lot from Pierre Poilievre tonight talking about unlocking the economic potential of Canada's First Nations by getting the, quote, gatekeepers of government out of their way. I think that's a sentiment that not only resonates with First Nations, but also with Canadians in general. There's just too much government controlling too much of our lives and costing far too much money. Now, this was a capacity crowd here tonight. This room behind me holds about 2,500 people. It's my understanding that Next door, there's an overflow room where they held about another 1,500, so 4,000 in total. And upstairs where I was working, they were not letting any more people come up the stairs because they were worried that the floor up there had reached capacity. And this is not just the kind of crowd that you see in Alberta for Pierre Poilievre. However, he did have a 5,000 or 6,000 person crowd in Calgary earlier in the week. He's drawing these big crowds all across the country. It's like nothing I've ever seen before in politics. This is just a leadership campaign. These are crowds that are bigger than what you would normally see during an election campaign. Now, at Rebel News, we've made a commitment to cover the leadership of the Conservative Party wherever we find it all across the country, but we can't do that without your help. To see our reports, but to also support our independent journalism, please visit leadershipreports.ca. For Rebel News here at the River Cree Resort on Enoch Cree First Nation, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. Support Rebel News' commitment to bringing you the other side of the story during the Conservative Party leadership campaign. Please visit leadershipreports.ca. There you can follow along with all of our coverage, but you can also make a donation to support the work that we do. And thank you in advance to everybody who continues to donate to make this important work possible.